Do you read me?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower, Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. Hurrah! What's going on, everybody? Baby Friday is upon us one more time, or Friday Night's Eve, as I like to call it. No matter what, goddamn, it's almost the weekend. I've been counting days and hours, just starting Monday. Shit, that's how we roll sometimes. Hey, we got a really cool show today. We got a really cool guest. But before we get into all that, let's just get all the logistics out of the way. Hey, look, this show is brought to you by Primerica. Primerica is an outstanding company. They've been around since 1977, almost 50 years. They're listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So you're not just dealing with some fly-by-night company. They're at the top 15% in the financial industry as well as asset and income protection. And this month, not only being mental health awareness, is also life life and income protection awareness month. In other words, is in the event that something tragic happens to you, how is your family going to get by financially after you're gone? Because the bottom line is, a GoFundMe account and posting somebody else posting a whole bunch of stuff on social media to gather some funds to help your family is not the way to go. So please do the right thing. Talk to a Primerica financial advisor. They'll give you the best options that there are out there. So that way and your loved ones are properly protected. Okay. Not only this, but this show is also brought to you by Castle Global Services. Castle Global Services has an array and a bunch of great services in regards to your residents as well as your business. One of the things is, it's already October. God damn, the days just fly by. It just seems that the older you get, it's like the time and years are on fucking rollerblades. But nonetheless, it's enrollment month. So those of you who are, work a regular 9 to 5, or you're in a gig industry, they have a great product called Impact. Impact is healthcare that supplement, that if you don't want to have the regular stuff that a company provides, you could go this route. It's very minimal, as well as you can pay for your entire family instead of paying the ungodly costs that are out there, because even Obamacare is not going to help you. So give them a call, check them out. It's right there on the show description. So go to castleglobalservices.acnibo.com, or you can shoot them a straight message and they'll get you all plugged in. Not only this, but this show is also brought to you by the VA. And here's an awesome message from Mike Richmond.
Hi, I'm Mike Richmond of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs with this message for veterans. Did you serve in the military? Veterans deserve world-class health care. You can help by joining the Million Veteran Program. MVP is VA's national voluntary research program to better understand how genes affect health. With over 900,000 veteran participants, MVP is one of the largest research programs in the world, with breakthroughs in PTSD, depression, heart disease, cancer, and more. With your help, the program can make more discoveries in areas that matter most to veterans. Go to mvp.va.gov to sign up, or call 866-441-6075 to schedule an appointment at a participating VA. You don't have to receive your care at VA to join. I'm Mike Richmond.
Hey, thanks, Mike Richmond, for that awesome message. I just received, not too long ago, I received an email from the VA. If you're not plugged in into any of the VA's messages, it will be in your best interest to do so. But there's a lot of scams going on right now in regards to the PAC Act. A lot of companies out there are taking advantage of, of our fellow brothers and sisters, uh, because, oh, hey, if you were denied compensation, blah, 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 go on this link, we'll help you out, and then pay a fee. I'm here to tell you folks that as somebody who's helped other folks fill out, go. Yeah, if the system is not perfect, not by far. However, you should not have to pay anybody to get your VA benefits, all straightened out or get you to 100%. There are county VSOs, veteran service officers that the government pays them, and they work for the VA, and it's free. It's a bottom line. It's a free service. So do not pay anybody or give it, because all these companies they're gonna put you on the hook for a certain percentage of your compensation for a couple of months or whatever the case may be. And they claim to be all veteran owned and all. That's just another veteran fucking another veteran, which really chaps my ass. So if you have any questions, hit us up. We'll point you in the right direction. But do not give your hard-earned money to some dumbass that wants to take advantage of you. All right? Sound good? Hoorah, get some. And not only this, finally, but also not the last thing. Hey, this show is brought to you by the Great American Constitution. So what does that mean? Is that, hey, look, in this show, we supported the Constitution while I served for 21 years. So, freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and the many other amendments and the other great freedoms that that the Constitution brings us. Bottom line is, whether I may like some things and dislike, you may dislike certain things and whatever. Hey, that's your freedom. It is your right as an American. So let's just all get along. And if you like this show, like, subscribe, and follow. Refer me, pass me around like a joint at a party. And if not, check something out from perhaps sitchradio.com. They got a bunch of stuff in there, like I Podcast That, Todd DeVoe, Combat Vet Vision, and many, many other shows. All right. Okay, I think that's it. That's pretty much all the good stuff out of the way. Hey, I got a really cool guest today. This dude was in the Air Force. My man retired and now makes some really cool products. I don't want to give it too much away, but let's just say that his company is A La Ancha. So let's bring La Sombra, or the shadow, to the fold. What's going on, my man?
Hey, Pacho. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's great. It's great having you, dude. I'm glad that we were able to, hook you, get you all snapped in on the show. It's an honor. By the way, thanks for your service, brother. I know you gave over 20 years to the Air Force. Is that correct?
Yep, 21 years, 6 months, 3 weeks, and 5 days. But there's nobody counting.
Yeah. I did 21 years myself. It was good. It was great. Play the game, but then game over. I'm out.
Right.
So, but tell us a little bit about your military career. It wouldn't be the field job if we didn't talk about that.
Of course. So first of all, you said La Sombra, and I was this whole time after the military, I'm trying to stay behind the shadows, right? Whenever I make hats and I make, my content creator makes videos, I always tell them, don't get any shots of my face. Because to me, it's really not about me, but about what I do. But I guess with this podcast, the cat is out of the bag. So for the past 21 and a half years, I served my country honorably with the United States Air Force. I joined, like many of my brothers and sisters, right after 9/11, right after our country was attacked. And there was, even though we were young, there was a feeling that there was something we needed to go do, just like generations prior to us. When the country needed its youth, there's people that step up and go ahead and do it. So I was, during that time, that journey took me through many places that I had no idea I was ever going to visit. I started as an aircraft mechanic. I worked on helicopters, C-130, C-17s. I was also a drill instructor, so a military training instructor, as we call it in the Air Force. They call them drill sergeants or DIs in other services.
Yes, in the only service.
I did that for about 5 years, and I was also a presidential ceremonial guardsman in Washington, D.C., a couple of different times. So performing military funeral honors at Arlington National Cemetery. So a a blessed career in the sense that even though there were a lot of sacrifices for myself and my family, there were a lot of dark times, as we all know, throughout these wars that just passed. There was also a lot of blessings. There was a lot of growing up. I became a man in the military. I joined at 17 years old. So I have nothing but gratitude for my service, and I can honestly say, gratefully say, that I have all my limbs today. I have my hands, my feet. I am physically capable. And I am grateful for that because I know a lot of my brothers and sisters, even though they came back, they are not complete physically.
No, and you bring up some really good points. By the way, it sounds like you've had a good, I guess, high pedigree type of career. I like to call it, maybe say that, hey, you've always been at the right place at the right time, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
No, and
Indeed.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
and it's got it's good for it's great. I mean, having to serve, as an honor guard, and also doing God's work of accompanying our brothers and sisters in that final walk. I mean, I'm sure that was that could be. I've heard from guys who do it in the Marine Corps that it's an honor to them, but it's also it's like they carry this weight, and not only physically but also that with that individual passing.
The most humbling duty that I have performed in my life is truly. I always thought about it in this way, right? That the first person that carries you that in their arms when you are born is usually your mother, and the last person to carry you to your resting place as a veteran is one of your brothers and sisters. So the honor of giving the final military honors to one of our brothers and sisters, and also in front of their families. That is the most humbling experience I have ever had. There's nothing that is ever going to come close to it. I have made peace in my mind, right? That is just a gift that life gave me to be able to serve in that way. And I think it says a lot about us. It says a lot about the kind of country that we are, how we treat the people that have served and given everything for their nation.
No, and thank you for doing that. I think it takes a special type of person to be able to do that type of duty, that specific type of duty, and then to successfully with that tour of duty. I'm sure there's some residual burdens that you carry because of that. So, but so you
For sure,
transition.
yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
go ahead.
there's nobody works out away from service unscathed. I don't
Oh
care
yeah.
if you only did 4 years, or some people that say, "Oh, I was only in for 4 years." Well, my feeling about it is, don't say only. That is 4 years more than about 99% of our population. So there's nothing light or pedestrian about service to our country in uniform. So, but yeah, nobody walks away unscathed, right? I think that is part of why it is service. You're leaving a piece of you in there, and I am grateful for what I have been able to do over the years.
That's great, and I like the way nobody should take it as pedestrian, because it does chat my ass too when I just did X dot 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 years, and it's like, bro, bro or sister, friggin', hey, the government got its pound of flesh out of you. Be proud of that, because again, only a certain amount of us is really is raises their right hand and says, hey, in the case that some shit goes wrong, here's this blank check I'm giving you. Feel free to cash it at any time. You know. So
Indeed.
now you're getting ready to retire. Boom, baller and everything. So how did this whole a la ancha wide wing came about? For those of you who don't habla.
Yeah, so I will tell you that I'm going to start this by saying that I am still living in the twilight zone. And what I mean by that is that I myself don't fully understand this phase of my life right now. And this is why I say that, because I have been wearing hats. I've been wearing fedoras for about a dozen years now, about 12, 13 years. And the craft of making a hat always intrigued me. It was not something that I ever lost sleep over, but I always wondered, how do people make hats? And I, of course, over the years, developed a hat problem, just like some people have sneaker problems. Some women have purse problems where they spend a lot of money on those things. My storage space in my house was becoming smaller and smaller because of hats. So I always was like, what if I dabble into learning how to do this? And that was the first spark. But that spark lasted years, because most of us, when we see something, it has happened to everyone, I think. You see something that you like, and you're like, oh, one day I want to do that. One day I want to get into that. That day never comes for whatever reason. Maybe, we don't feel like we have the time, or timing is not right, responsibilities or whatever. I call my story an act of rebellion. The day after I pushed the button for retirement, I was in my garage customizing some of my old hats. If you ask me why I was doing that, I don't fully know, because it was something that I always wanted to do, and I guess I decided to do it because I just wanted to do something different, and it immediately exploded. And in a way that I wasn't prepared for, in the sense that I was doing it for me. I just remember I have a hat problem. I just wanted to have it not cost me as much. So I figured if I do it myself, then it'll be cheaper. That did not last very long at all. Well, overnight, I had friends, family, and strangers telling me, "Hey, can you make me one of those? Like, I want to buy that from you." And it quickly became apparent that this gift that I had hidden, that I didn't know about, was not for me. I thought this was something that I was going to do for myself. No, this is something that I have to share with the world, and the rest is history.
Well, goddamn, man, good for you. Have you ever read Atomic Habits, the book?
I have not. I
Well,
know which book you're talking about.
yeah, but I mean, one of the first things is, there's a cue, a spark, and then there's a craving. There's four things to build a habit, and the first two, that craving, there's got to be a positive. It could be a positive or negative reward. I mean, it could go both ways. But for you, you had that craving, like, hey, or that spark. Shit, I'm gonna explore this. I got a hat habit that I need. I need a fix. I have a hat fix that give me some of that. And then
Yes.
you once you start doing it, like, oh wow, and then those a positive feedback, positive reward, where hey, maybe this is my chapter in life at this moment, and let's explore it and see. I mean, I think that's a great thing, so go
I
ahead.
think that I think that one of the things that pushed me over the edge when it came to taking the risk to do something new, because anytime you do anything new in life, there's risk associated with it, right?
Of course.
Because you're about to embark on something that requires your time and resources and all that. I think that the main push for me was, the longer you stay, and not just in the military, in any organization, you find yourself in higher positions and in places where, in my case, you lose your ability to work with your hands. You got to remember that, as I said earlier, I was an aircraft mechanic. So you could say that for the majority of my career, at least half of it, I was working with my hands and I was working with people. As you rise up the ranks, that ability goes away.
Oh yeah.
And it started not sitting with me well, that I became a desk jockey, right? And being at meetings, and from my meetings to the desk, and from the desk to the meetings. And of course, Every senior leader says, "Oh, I'm here for the people," and you go out there and spend time. But you got to realize the reality is that the more time that you spend doing that, being with the grunts in the trenches, the more time you're not doing what you're being paid to do, which
Yeah.
is managerial, administrative work. And that I felt was killing me. I needed to find a way to work with my hands again. Did I know it was going to be hats? I had no idea. And I think that that is something that found me. I am not a religious person by any means. I feel like this has been some kind of divine intervention for me. And so I feel very blessed that I was able, honestly, the way that I say to people, like the way that I explain it to my family and friends, I have fallen in love with myself again. I had gotten away from myself for many years, and all of a sudden this came along and I met myself again. And I cannot tell you how important that is for me. I think this has potentially saved my life.
No, and that's great. As a matter of fact, why don't we let's show let's show that clip of you working on one of your
Let's see it.
pieces right over here. That's really cool. I mean, you're right there hooking and jabbing, getting all the brim on nice and smooth, all that good stuff. Yeah. I grew up as a farmer in Colombia, and hats are very common. To this day, I got a hat back there that I keep on one of my Doraemon big dolls, and then I have one out here by the door. So, but every time I go to Colombia, boom, I got a hat on. I get over there. I mean, we wear them all over the place. Can we show some? Let's show some of your pieces. Let's talk about some of the really cool stuff you got on your Instagram. By the way, everybody, if you want to check out his Instagram, it's also right there on the show bio. Uh, I mean, my man has got some really cool stuff. So let's talk about actually let's talk about the red one. I think that's the one that he just built for Brian.
Yes.
Shout out to Brian
Yes.
Colburn.
No big deal. Brian Colburn over here put me to work on something that I had this idea in my mind for many years. I have been married to my wife, Jamie, for 16 years now, and she knows every time that I speak into the air ideas and things that I have, she has always heard it. So for many years, she has heard that I wish there was something that I could put on a hat that could hold a cigar. And I've had different ideas like installing a hook or something to hold a cigar, not while you're smoking it, but maybe you don't want to bring your portable humidor everywhere you go. You just want to bring a cigar. You can't carry it in your pocket because it'll get all messed up. So I'm like, what if I devise a way to hold it in your hat? And when Brian put me to work, I was like, you know what? That idea that I've had about holding a cigar in a hat, I just need to go ahead and work it into whatever I'm doing right now. And of course, those of you, anybody out there who has ever worked with felt, who has ever gotten into either millinery or hat making, knows that high quality felt can conform to any shape you want it to be. And so I'm like, well, let me see if I can roll the brim in a way that can hold a cigar. And my friend, when I tell you that that design came out to be a fan favorite, it is an understatement. So many people sent me different messages and orders and saying like, how can I get this? Because you don't see that out there. I've been wearing hats for a long time. You don't see that kind of design out there. But the hat itself overall, right? I think it's a good homage to the cigar world, right? To cigar smokers, cigar makers. There's little details that I always put into hats that are basically Easter eggs on what the theme of the hat is. But overall, I will say that on that hat, just like any other ones that you see on my page, um, it is a work of love and peace, meaning I love what I'm doing and it brings me peace while doing it. I immerse myself completely, and most of my customers say, "Hey, listen, do whatever it is you feel like doing. I don't want to interfere with that train of thought," and it's a beautiful thing.
No, and dude, when Brian, he sent me like, dude, you got to check this dude's page out because I just put him on the, I just put him on the ping for a hat, blah blah. And when I saw that hat, it just it was him. I mean, it's crimson red, Marine Corps crimson red, but the cigar thing. Look, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I was like, holy shit. That hat is Brian. It screams Brian all over the place. But then after I checked out your page, your Instagram account, dude, you're freaking, you're an artist, man. I mean, it's art
Thank you.
what you're putting out there and sharing with the world. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's fucking beautiful, bro.
Thank you.
It's
I'll tell you, it's hilarious to me that at this point in my life,
look at
I
the inside.
am being called. Oh, you said what?
The inside of that one has got La Virgen Guadalupe on it and
Uh-huh.
everything.
Yes. No, so being called an artist, right? I mean, I understand because this is art, but I never thought that I would be called that because in all reality, there's nothing. You know how there's people that become good at something and it's like, oh, well, that makes sense because that was always their passion or they always had a knack for that as a child or whatever. That's not my story at all. I have never really been a creative. I cannot draw for shit. I cannot, there's a lot of artistic skills that I have seen people around me have that I've always been like, I wish I had that. I have never, even though I appreciate good clothing, I have never really been into the world of fashion. This is something that was completely born out of nowhere, and it makes me a believer in the fact that I do believe right now that there are skills and abilities that we each have that we don't even understand that we have. We don't even know. It takes it might take a person saying something or a specific event in life for us to realize to unlock that door. I don't think it is a traditional, hey, this is what you've been doing or raised to do. We see it in sports too, right? We see people that start sports late in life and they become superstars, right? So I honestly think we don't know shit about the human ability when it comes to what is inside of us. I think it is our quest in a lifetime to find out what those things are and then throw ourselves into them.
God damn it. You're like this Hispanic hat making Yoda Buddha fucking deep motherfucker, dog. I mean, it's true. I mean, and I dig everything that you're saying, like as Angel posted in one of the comments, I mean, you have healing hands. You're a healer, dog. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, to have a gift and you said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna just dive deep into this and create some awesome hats, bro. I mean, it's great and it's really cool that you're sharing it with the world, bro. I mean, that's my opinion.
No, I appreciate that and that the thing that when you and I were talking offline about mental health and its importance, especially in the veteran community, I think that a lot of times we are left without a place to go when it comes to mentally, right? Where do you go mentally?
100%.
A lot of times we come back from deployments, but we're really not there. A lot of times we finish service, but we never are really done. And I think that each of us, the question is, how do we unlock it, right? But I think that each of us have a thing inside of us that if we are lucky enough, I consider myself lucky, to find the key to it, you realize that there are many lives that you can live within the same experience of this one thing that we get given, which is life. So I am gifted. I am grateful. And I'll tell you, if you had told me, if you or anybody had come up to me last year and said, hey man, next year you are going to retire the military and start making hats, I would have laughed at you. I would have said you're crazy, because in my mind, that was never in the cards. So we have to keep our minds open.
No, it's those things, and certain things kind of drive us in a certain direction. I mean, case in point, I think I've always had an artistic side. Believe it or not, I mean, I grew up doing ballet. I did it, I even did it during the Marine, during the Marine Corps. After I came back, kind of like you, I came back after, deploying to Iraq the first time. And I had like this epiphany, like, like, man, life is fucking short,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I was happy. I like dancing. I grew up doing it. My mom was a choreographer. Anyways, so I started doing it and I performed. Hell, I even invited my CO once to one of the shows, and he's like, God damn, who's the smart one here? I mean, you're surrounded, he's like this current full-bro colonel. He's like, man, you're surrounded by chicks. I mean, that's how this go around. God damn, good job, man. It's like, thanks, sir.
Of course.
But it's that spark, and just going. Basically, the bottom line is it gave you an out, like you said earlier. It saved your life, and now you're leaving. Man, it's like you said some really good things. Each hat has has a little bit, or that little stamp, or a spiritual part of you in each piece of it. In each piece that you create, man. And I think it's fucking amazing.
So let me tell you about the stamp, right? So on each piece that I make, I burn an A into it, which is really my logo, right?
Right.
But that A comes from the name of my hat company, which I decided to call it A La Ancha. Now, the Hispanics in your community or in your viewership will understand, especially if they were born and raised anywhere in the Caribbean, Latin America, and they gotta be at least 40 years old. There is this song by Ruben Blades. His name is Ruben Blades for those that no habla. The lyrics, right, talk about it's a story, right, of a street gangster, a street thug that it describes how he is dressed, right?
Por la esquina del medio
barrio yo vi pasar. Yes.
Did we just become best friends?
So if you notice, Ruben Blades as an artist, he always told stories, and in his stories, it was very descriptive, so that you could basically get in the moment of what he is seeing in his mind. Right. And he describes the way that this guy is dressed, and he said that he was using a sombrero de ala ancha. So he's saying he was wearing a wide brim hat, de medio lao. So he said it was kind of tilted, right? So you of course think of the gangsters of back in the day who would wear their hats like that. When I was first creating my first pieces, the first thing that I thought about was Ruben Blades and Pedro Navaja, which is the name of the song. Yeah. And I'm like, a la ancha, it just stuck with me. So then, but I was like, what am I gonna use to represent that brand? And I noticed in my mind, I was thinking an A is really the shape of a hat. It has the general shape of a hat. Yeah. And so one day I have a blade in my garage that I heated up, because I know that if I apply a hot blade to felt, it'll leave a mark. Yeah. And so I did that. I drew an A on it, and I'm like, this is perfect. I think this kind of this defines what I'm trying to do in general. You can define it in many different ways, but I think that each of us in life, right, are molded by the things that we're surrounded by and that happen to us. Just like with felt, when you apply heat, when you apply stress, you mold it into whatever it is you want it to be. When you apply a hot blade to it, it leaves a mark. The same thing with our lives. The trauma that we go through, whether it is in life or in our professional lives and our relationships, our upbringing, the things, the bullshit that our parents give to us because they don't know any better. All that kind of stuff molds us into the unique individuals that we each are. So I thought it was too perfect that I'm going to have Ruben Blades words in my company forever, and it just organically happened.
Dude, this has been by far a very all of my shows are cool and I've had some really cool guests, but I think this one is has been pretty fucking awesome, bro. I mean, and by the way, I'm a huge fan of Ruben Blades, Panamanian. I'm Colombian, so
Uh-huh.
Panama used to be a part of Colombia, which they might deny, but
Uh-huh.
whatever,
I know. I know.
So,
I
but
love Colombia. I love my Colombian people. If you look through my profile grid on Instagram, I made a Colombian hat, or a hat for a Colombian lady
we will talk
that
some more.
that basically kind of is paying respects to the country. Love. I have a lot of friends in Colombia. I got the opportunity to do military work in Colombia, and um, I think that if you ask me about any of my pieces, it has a personal story of my own behind it. It has my own mark in it.
Well, why don't we do this? I mean, just because we're so limited for time, but first of all, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for your service. Where can people go find you on social media if they want to hit you up and put you on the hook for one of these awesome freaking pieces? I highly recommend.
For sure. So the only place where my business actually lives is in social media, more specifically Instagram. Look up A La Ancha Hat Company on Instagram. And of course, that account is tied to my Facebook account, A La Ancha Hat Company. Those are the only places. I don't have a online store or anything like that. Everything that I make is custom made for each customer. If you want a hat made, you gotta talk directly to me. And my shop is one person, and that is me. So I do the entire process. So direct message me if you would like to get on a project together. And just know that anytime that you're wearing a La Ancha hat, it's not a hat line. You're wearing a one of one.
Damn. And by the way, I just want to say that it's made in America. So,
Yes, sir. Indeed.
dude,
Indeed.
bro, it's been fucking awesome having you on the show. I mean, this
Thank
has
you.
been, a really great conversation. We're gonna bring you back, and there's yours truly, Mr. Colbert, wearing
Wow.
wearing an awesome freaking piece right there, dude. That hat
Wow.
screams Brian fucking all over. It's outstanding.
Amazing, amazing. I love it. That's one of the things that brings me joy is actually seeing. I'm the one that makes them, but I don't see them being worn. This is a treat, really, to see somebody from across from where I'm at actually wearing my hat. That's amazing.
No, that's great. And by the way, I just want to say that the follow-up song to Pedro Navaja is Juanito Alimaña, which is that was his
Juanito
own.
Alimaña, of
Yeah,
course.
brother. Thanks for the show. Thanks for being here, bro. We'll
Thank you.
definitely bring you back so we could talk some more and just be bullshit like we used to when we used to go to the field. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Pacho and Brian, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for bringing me here and actually kind of allow me also to talk through my own process. This is very new to me, and I learn a little bit about it as I speak about it every day. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks so much, brother. Thanks so much, and God bless you, and God bless the type of work that you do.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Hey, everybody! It's been I think this one of the good. All of the shows are good, but this one has been it's up there. It's up there, right? Anyways, look, hey, before we punch out of here, if you've been ruminating, kind of going into that dark hole, you could do some, do something, call, check up, do a buddy check on yourself, hit up a friend, ask for help, TRICARE, Military One Source. There's just many resources out there. Find an outing, something to get all that shit out of you and put it into, like my man right here, Jorge did. He put that work into something beautiful, and it just gave him an out and something of the sort. Help, but and if you haven't heard from a friend, your homework for this weekend is do a quick buddy check. You don't have to bullshit for a little bit. Just make a phone call and call the next and tell them, hey, I'm starting a chain. Now you got Firewatch. You got the next phone call. All right. So with that being said, I think we're just gonna go ahead and index this on a great fucking note. So that I just want to say, hey, hoorah, get some Aistamas, Daisuki. See you all next week, folks. And hey, rock out, have a great weekend. Yat, get some.